Hey everybody, thank you so much for coming back and seeing me and Desi. Did you have a good week? I had a pretty good week. And I wanted to thank you last week for being so kind to Hal. We haven't seen him in almost a year, and boy, did we have fun or what. And he reads all your comments, and your comments were so touching. So thank you for giving him such a nice welcome. You know, summer's coming up in a couple weeks, and I have gotten a lot of very personal questions, publicly and privately, from you about our weight and about wearing shorts and bathing suits and our confidence and maybe things that are holding us back. And instead of answering some of these questions privately, I wanted to do it today because this is the kind of channel we can talk about anything, can't we? You've asked me about confidence, and that is a funny animal, isn't it? There are some situations where I feel very confident and very self-assured, and then other times, not so much. I'm very self-conscious and wondering if I'm doing the right thing. The time where I feel very confident is if I'm sitting down and we're chatting. I love that. I'm so comfortable with you. I care about you. I care about what you think. I care about your life. And I think you care about my life and what I think. It's comfortable. This feels safe. And I think another area where I feel very confident is if I'm sitting around with my music friends, people that I've played music with my whole life. I feel on top of the world. I can talk about, playing piano, writing songs, chords, progressions. Music has been always a part of my life, so that's where I feel confident. Go ahead, try me. Let's talk music. Where's the weakness? Where don't I feel confident? I would say right now, and I know this is going to sound odd, but it's around family. The people that I love so much, I feel probably less confident because I'm always worried that I'm not listening. Now, I'm a talker and I'm dramatic, and I always, somebody will say something and then I'll say, oh yeah, that happened to me. And then I go into a story and it's like it's too much. I love my family. I want to be a listener for my family. I want to hear what they have to say, what they're doing in their life. So I have to consciously, say to myself, zip it. Just listen. Be a good listener. You love these folks. It's not about you. Listen. And so I get a little bit that first hour with my family. I love them so much. And I want to make sure that they know that I care. What have they been doing? And I want to hear all about it. But frankly, sometimes I'm not such a great listener. And it's something that I really, really lately am trying to work on. But could you tell I was a big talker? I bet you could. I bet you could tell that. How have I changed over the years? How about you? What's the biggest change that you have gone through in the last 30 years? The woman you were 30 years ago, 40 years ago, what's different? What's different now about you? I think for me, there's quite a few things that are different. Women have to lead all kinds of different lives. We're mothers, we're grandmothers, we're daughters, we're sisters. We're friends. And we live, if we're lucky, we live a very long life and we learn and we change. And I think for me, the biggest change is that I don't see things black and white anymore. I'm more apt to look at a person who is perhaps saying things that I don't agree with or doing things that I don't approve of, and I'm willing to take a look at that person and why they're doing what they're doing. It's not an acceptance, but it's a realization that I don't have all the answers, and I want to hear about somebody's story, no matter whether I agree with them or not. And I like that. I like that change in me, that I'm not the know-it-all that my mother used to accuse me of being. I'm more willing to, I want to hear you out. I want to hear why you think the way that you do. And just because it's different from me, I still love you. I didn't seem to understand when I was young that every action has consequences. And I seem to put myself first too much of the time. I mean, not all the time, but too much of the time. I would think, well, how is this going to affect me? Or I'm going to make this decision because it will be good for me. Not understanding that consequences are not only things that I would suffer, but the people around me. I've become a better person. I've become a person that understands that my actions not only affect me, but they affect others. And that's more important to me now than anything else. What I say and what I do and how that affects others. You can strike a balance between having the life you've always wanted, but having a life that you're proud of. And that's what I think I've done. That's my most... that's the thing that I've changed the most, that I'm proudest of, if I might say that.
I love spireas. There's never a time where I see a spirea where I don't think of my grandfather. He planted the whole backyard in spireas.
Have you ever noticed that being our age, it seems like people are always trying to give us advice? What is up with that? I don't know how many times I hear, if I were you, I would, and then just fill in the blank. I got a question the other day I thought was cute. What kind of advice do you get that you never follow? And I love that. And for me, that was easy. And there's always people that will look you right in the eye and they'll say, now, do not live in the past. Never look back. Never think about the life that you used to have when you were young. And I just think that is so wrong. You know what? That advice ticked me off so much, I actually researched it. And some very impressive studies show that, people our age, it's good for us to look back. It keeps us in touch with this life that we had, all our accomplishments, all the wonderful things that we did. It helps our self-esteem. It gives us a center and a grounding. And it's very, very good to take a look back and to cherish those memories. And every once in a while, I'll be somewhere and the lighting will be, just right. And I'll have a little flashback of something that happened that was wonderful in my 20s or 30s, sometimes, just last year. And it's wonderful. And I embrace that. I don't believe that we need to live in the past, but I love my memories. And why do people take photographs? We take photographs because we want to remember all that love. We want to remember the life that has been so good to us. I don't dwell on the sadness that I've had in my life. And I know that sometimes I have a suspicion that the people who always say to me, oh, don't look back, I always feel that perhaps they're the people that live with the most regret or sorrow. Well, I know I have my own regrets and my own sorrow, but I tell myself if I kind of drift back there, oh no, I'm not allowed. I'm not allowed to think about the sadness. And that helps me.
This beautiful, and I mean beautiful, linen skirt that I picked up at Marshall's. It's a $287 outfit, I believe, and I got it for $32. Why is it so easy to pass on the cookies when you're in love? But when nobody is there asking you how your day was, that cookie looks pretty good. Looks pretty friendly, pretty loving.
My biggest disappointment in the last year is that all the weight that I lost for my son's wedding, I almost gained it all back. So about 15 pounds. And I was just heartbroken that I did that. I worked so hard to get into my dress for that wedding, and I felt so good being thinner. And I couldn't wait to lose another 10 after that. And I kept the weight off for a long time, but I went back this week and I took a look at exactly when did I gain it back, and it was last Christmas. So how did I do that? How did I gain 11 pounds in 1 month? How is that even possible? Well, it was a cold December, so I wasn't exercising. And, well, at Christmas time, I'm always baking for my neighbors or my family. And, you got to test out what you're baking. So, and then there's Christmas parties. And I allowed myself to really think about what is going on. Why am I gaining this weight? And why aren't I losing it? And I thought about how much I love my house and I love my yard and I love my life here, but sometimes I get lonesome. And I think what I was doing is I fell in love with cooking again. And I would try out these new recipes and I would have such a wonderful time, and it was very comforting. And I realized instead of socializing more or, going out more, I was staying home and I was making a home for myself. I was showing myself, kind of attention and love by cooking all these wonderful dinners for myself. It wasn't eating. It wasn't the art of stuffing my face. That wasn't why I was gaining weight. I think I was looking in all the wrong places to feel not so lonely. And once I kind of hit on that, I kind of stopped with the recipes and I started to eat healthier. In the last couple of weeks, I've seen amazing results. When we get on the scales and we not only know that it's hard to sometimes wear the clothes we want to wear when we're 30 pounds overweight, 50 pounds overweight, whatever, what makes us not fly into action? And all we have to do is eat less and exercise more. We don't have to spend thousands of dollars to be told how easy it is to lose weight. I mean, everybody has, a different way that they know works. I'm on the same diet I was a year ago when I lost, I don't know, what was it, 15, 17 pounds. What did I change? Why is it working now, but it didn't work the last 6 months of my life? I think because I realize now, if I feel lonely, it's not going to go away because I cooked myself a wonderful cordon bleu. That does sound good, though. I think getting to that root cause, it changed my life, and I'm happy about that.
You don't have to live alone to understand loneliness. Some of the loneliest people I know are married.
The other day I got the sweetest message from, well, you know who you are, a wonderful lady right here. And she said, I want to change my hair and I want to change my makeup and I want to get my body in shape. But there's always something that's holding me back. And I don't know what it is. Have you ever felt that way? And the answer is absolutely. When I look back, I absolutely feel that things held me back, but I still feel like things hold me back. Sometimes I feel like I live in the shadows of my own life instead of being the star of my own play or show. I feel that I'm in the shadows sometimes, that I don't always do what I want, or I can't always say what I want, that, well, nice girls keep their voice down, right? When I think about things that hold me back, I always think about, well, when I was 9 years old, my grandfather bought me a piano, and that was a huge deal. Even though he was told, oh, she'll never learn it, she'll never play. I always, every single day, I practiced for hours and hours, so much so my grandfather had to have the piano moved to the second floor of the house because he couldn't take the noise, but he was so proud of me for learning how to play. And then he died. My mother was a professional singer, and she was a great singer. But there I was, and I was learning these very complicated songs that she would sing. She'd give me the sheet. She'd buy sheet music, and I'd learn the sheet music, and then she would sing. And I have to say, she was the star of the show. Even though I was 10 years old and it was, new to me, and I was working really hard to be a good pianist, for her, it was about her. And rightfully so. She was a professional singer. So she would have me play the way she wanted me to play. And when I loved the song, they're writing songs of love, but not for me. And then I would start to sing it, and she would stop and say, no, don't sing. I sing. You play. And that went on for forever. Don't sing. Just play. That has always been something that has stayed with me, and probably always will stay with me. I mean, later on, I would look out and see, over 1,000 people, and I would sing to them. And I never had a big voice. I had a voice that was just good enough to sing those songs that I would write. Nothing more. But when I was working with a producer, he once said, "You're so timid with your voice. Why?" And then I go back to, don't sing, just play. And so often in my life, I have felt like that little girl at the piano. Just in a situation, maybe a social situation where, the women are dressed in $1,000 outfits, and there I am in my Walmart skirt. No matter what our age, what is holding us back? And isn't it possible that in all of us, at times, there's that little girl just being told, don't sing, just play. And play the way I want you to play. Keep your voice down. Nice girls don't raise their voice. Know your place. Isn't there a little bit of that in all of us at times? Yes, we've grown up, and we're wise, and we're strong. But still, there's those moments where I do feel I get a little too comfortable in the shadows of my own life. And it's never too late to say, enough. I'm going to play. I'm going to sing. Hey, I'm going to dance, because this is my show. This is my life. And I'm going to make it count. And nothing is going to hold me back from my goals. And I got plenty. And I bet you do too.
Another summer coming on, and here I am, happy enough, trying to reach my endless goals, fearing if I ever felt content, I might just fade away. What holds me back is nothing that has a name. It's just a feeling inside. I still see the world as an insecure child, and that's okay. I don't mind.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. I hope you liked the video. It was an interesting video to do, and if you get a chance down below, could you share something that maybe, well, something that maybe I said struck a chord with you? Please have yourself a very happy, safe, brand new week. And when you're done with your week, please come back and see me and Desi, okay? All right, it's a deal. We'll be here. Glory, glory, hallelujah.